Imagine if leadership and development was a uniting factor for people towards a certain achievement. When people set aside their political differences and affront a cause that will benefit everyone.
What does omuntu wa wansi see as development in Entebbe?
Mbuuza meya akyegana, tawuni kiraka akyegana.
Who is the problem now?
Ensonga eno ejja kuggwa.
That is politics.
Era tetulina kyakulya n'enkya tekigenda kubaawo.
Ate ne President Museveni bannanga akyali baby.
Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. as we discuss matters in Entebbe, the first Uganda's colonial capital, and what it deserves.
Well, a very good morning and thank you for joining us once again on the Media Lab show. This is Saturday, the 1st, of course, of February 2025. We want to always, of course, congratulate whoever has made it a success in the recent or in the past month. And now you're looking up to another successful one. It's always a pleasure to congratulate and thank you. We want to say sorry to those that lost their beloved ones and those that whose things are not going right. Of course, every time we come here, there is a lot to dissect. And we want to say that today also another episode will be diving into aviation matters. This time, I want to put out shouts to my people in Entebbe, the Mayor of Entebbe, Fabrice Rulinda, and your team for doing or making a commendable job in serving the people. The tax park was opened. That was a good success for the people in Entebbe, but also wish that more can come into that direction. This beautiful morning, we'll be speaking matters aviation. We want to understand more into aviation training, why there are few students in the aviation industry, yet this is one of the industries that are still raw and virgin, given the fact that the national carrier Uganda Airlines is expanding its routes. But to be more specific, it's an industry that requires more Ugandans to tap into. I'm told close to 40% of the people that are serving that industry are not nationals, and they're, coming from the neighboring countries and the rest. But we just want to understand what is really happening and how, of course, Ugandans can still tap into that virgin industry. I am joined this beautiful morning by Baptist Eidit, who is the head of training at JOJAM Aviation Academy in Qatar, to just paint for us. He's an engineer himself, but we want him to just paint for a picture. But thank you so much for joining me, Baptist Eidit.
Thank you very much, Ivan.
Yeah, we are asking questions. Why is it that Ugandans have not embraced the joining aviation industry, and we still have close to 40% of people that are serving in this industry being foreigners? I don't want to use foreigners, but from our neighborhood.
Oh, yes. First of all, my fellow Ugandans and Africans and the world who are watching, thank you for watching us. As he has mentioned, my names are Eidit Baptist. I'm a licensed engineer and licensed aircraft engineer, and I'm also the head of training for JOJAM Aviation Academy. Going back to the point that Ivan just mentioned, the reason why there has been a lag in the number of personnel in the aviation industry is the number one cause is the training, the lack of training schools. We've seen some sorority. There is a sorority, yes. Flying school, is it? It's called sorority flying school, but the real name is East African Civil Aviation Academy.
Oh, okay.
And the mother is known as sorority flying school.
Okay. Let's go on.
Yeah, so the reason has been the lack of training schools. For quite a long time, sorority has been the only one training in Uganda and East Africa, by the way. At some point, it was the only one.
Yes.
That's why if you go to most of the big companies in East Africa at the moment, most of the people at the level of management and so on, they will trace their roots to sorority. Because at some point it was sorority alone until a certain point, I think the early 2000s, when Kenyan schools started coming up.
Yes.
So it was only sorority, and Kenya somehow picked up and went ahead of us, but we remained with only sorority. But
you're part of the people that got a chance, I think, to study there yourself.
Yes, I studied in sorority, and I'm proud of that. But sorority has been having a challenge. Being a government school, the funding has been having issues. They have not updated their systems for quite a long time. Other schools are evolving. You know, aviation is an industry which evolves so fast. You just stay out of aviation for a year, you find a lot of changes.
A lot has changed.
So Soroti has been having that lag. It is not coping up with the industry. So you find, for example, in engineering, they take about only 10 engineers. I don't know if it has changed, but the last I knew, about 10 engineering students.
What could be the
per year.
reason? They do not have resources?
Per year. Okay, I think it is just a policy which was set up. Like, you know, being government, you cannot be.
But with the population we have, over 40 millions, if you are taking 10 students, don't you think others now have to miss out?
Yeah, like I said, at that time, the time I knew, a few years back, that was the case. I don't know if it has changed. So they would take like 10 students. However, about 60 students also would apply. The rest find their way out. So most of them would go to other countries, India, China. And recently, a lot of them were going to Nairobi. So that has been the biggest problem. And also, for any industry to pick up, to have personnel, you need a trained personnel. It starts with the schools, isn't it? That's why we send our children to school from primary, get a degree, get a qualification. Because you cannot employ someone who is not qualified. So that was the biggest challenge. That's the root cause.
Is that maybe the reason why most people say aviation is for the rich? People think that it's only the rich that can take their children to the aviation schools.
No, I don't think. The reason why that slogan is there is maybe because first and foremost the public is not informed about aviation. Honestly, Ivan, if you don't come to Entebbe or maybe Soroti where there is a flying school, you go to other districts, let's say Mbale or Katakwi where I come from, people don't know about aviation. It's an industry which is still not out there. It has not been diversified. It is not in the public. People just need to be informed, and this is where the media comes in. You people need to start promoting aviation so that we can also come in.
People think that when you study aviation, you have to be in the cockpit. You're a pilot.
That is another myth. That's another myth. But I don't blame the public. Like I told you, the public is not informed about aviation. So the first people, or the people always see maybe on TV, in these movies, is a pilot flying the aeroplane. You get it, eh? And maybe the cabin crew, those ladies, nice, beautiful ladies who are serving and helping people around the cabin. Those are the people interact with or see. However, it's broader than that.
Flight attendants and all.
Yes. However, it's broader than that. There are other courses or professions within the aviation fraternity.
But if you're saying it's not the rich, how can you break it down to a layman who is in Bududa, who is in Kabong, that you can have a child study aviation? How cheap is it? Even if it's expensive.
Okay, you see, like I said earlier, the myth that is for the rich is because, first of all, the word about aviation is not out there. People don't know about aviation. However, if you go deeper into aviation, you realize there are actually courses which are affordable, if not all. The only course maybe which really I would think is for the rich maybe is piloting in aviation, because it's quite expensive for sure. You can do your search and find out. But from engineering and other courses, I'll try to break down for engineering, for example. For example, an average engineering course maybe per semester is about $2,500, which is about, let's say, 7 to 8 million.
Okay.
You get it. Right now, a medical course in a private university, I think, goes for about the same.
Yes, same amount.
Less.
Yes.
However, this engineering course takes 3 years. If you do the arithmetics, the math, and calculate the total in those 3 years, those are 6 semesters. Vis-a-vis a doctor who is doing 5 years. You get it? Those are 10 semesters. You find the doctor's course might even be more expensive than for engineering. Yeah.
Okay, so at JOJAM, what exactly are you trying to address in as far as how we are getting these challenges? What are you trying to address as far as how you have established this school?
Okay, you see, some people in this, God has created people differently. Myself, I took it upon myself with the other directors, and this came. The reason why we started JOJAM was it started. I think the idea started around 2017 when I was by the way an engineering instructor at the Soroti Flying School, the famous Soroti, and I was also the head of safety for the maintenance side.
Okay.
Okay. So while I was there, I saw these challenges, like I've been mentioning. The number of students who are taken, there are few, a lot of them are going out of the country. I'm like, can't someone do something like this in the country to bridge this gap?
Yes.
Because a lot of guys were flocking, India, China, people had their money. But the policy was the best 10. No, we had what they call the aptitude test, plus the grades. They first take your grades, then they subject you to aptitude tests. So out of those aptitude tests, the best 10 are the ones they take.
Okay.
The rest, you find your way out. So people would go to China, to India, to some to Ukraine. We have a lot of guys who studied Ukraine and so on and so on. So I said, but can't this be capped here? What is this thing that is so hard? That only one school and yet Kenyans are having? What is the secret? So I took it upon myself with the other directors. We discussed and we said, let's research. We started by doing a feasibility study, researching, finding out how is it possible. We realized it's actually not something complicated. You get it? It's just the document, do the right documentation, go apply to the Civil Aviation Authority, have the right people, the engineers who are qualified to be instructors and so on and so on. And then CA subjects you to a certification process. It's a 5-phase certification process. That's how it's called. It took a while. We had back and forth. It took about 2 years when we
they're still chasing.
Yes. But finally, as we speak, it is being concluded. However, as that was going on, we decided to get the European certification. We are affiliated to 2 schools in Europe.
Okay.
That is Endeavors. They have the EASA certification. EASA is the European Aviation Safety Agency.
Yes.
They are the ones which certify any operator in Europe, either a school, an aircraft operator, or a maintenance organization. So we got in touch with them. It was also a long hurdle, but finally, after we proved whatever they wanted, they gave us an MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay, so, I think yes.
So that one, for the European certifications, we have them. We are affiliated to these schools, so those ones are already running. For the national authority, which is the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, or the ICAO, what people know as ICAO certifications, we are in the final stages. We are, I think, about 90% complete.
Okay,
yes.
You will hold it there. We will now take a very quick commercial break, and when we return, we want to see the opportunities that young people can find at JOJAM. The fact that some of them are now waiting for their senior 4 results, others senior 6. What opportunities can they see at JOJAM? And that's what we'll be discussing when we return from this commercial break. Of course, it's still the Media Lab. Thank you for watching us, Media Lab, Entebbe Post, Kumba Times, and the rest. We are going to take a very quick commercial break, and when we return, we want to see the opportunities that somebody can find at JOJAM Aviation Academy. And as far as how I have John Baptist Eidit, who is the head of training in that academy, he will be breaking down for us. Let's take a break. We'll return shortly.
Welcome, traveler, to the adventure of a lifetime. Rare, beautiful, and precious. Embrace the unique, unforgettable, and extraordinary. Come and explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Lillian! Lily flower!
A small seed.
The cedar bus of beauty, the power bank of my heart, the sugar of my milk tea.
I'm glad you're here. Today buy for us some chicken.
No problem. You can eat whatever you want. I had already ordered. How much?
122.
122? Now, what if I take this one and this one? And can I also borrow this one? How much now?
When your money is not enough, don't hassle. We're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *5# to add call with Momo Advance and pay.
Entebbe, the land of freshness, fresh breeze, fresh water, fresh weather, and fresh foods. Entebbe is not just the gateway to Uganda, but also fresh foods supplied from 81 Sese Islands in Lake Victoria. Fresh foods from the garden to Chitoro Market and straight to your home. Visit Chitoro Market in Entebbe, Uganda's first capital for all your fresh foods.
Okay, we'll be back from that commercial break. With me in the studio still is John Baptist Eidit, who is the head of training at JOJAM Aviation Academy. He's just giving us insights on what opportunities can young people, young Ugandans, find in the aviation industry. What are the new, changes? What are the good things that a young person can find in aviation? For a fact, he alluded that some of you think when you go to aviation, you have to go to the cockpit. But he's an engineer himself who is just breaking down opportunities to you, the young people who are listening, and the parents that have your children and may be interested in joining aviation industry. Before we went for the break, JOJAM, you were still telling me about opportunities that young people can find at JOJAM. Does somebody have to have a degree to join the academy? Somebody has to go to a certificate? Can even a P7 certificate also qualify somebody to study a course at JOJAM?
Oh, okay. For engineering, we take A-level, physics and math. And for equivalent, by equivalent I mean like maybe someone has done a certificate or a diploma in any engineering discipline. Let's say electrical engineering, automotive, mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Those anything engineering discipline.
Yes.
Telecom, IT. As long as you did a certificate, a diploma, we also take you on.
Okay.
But the minimum is A-level, physics and math.
Yes.
So we at least take at least one principle.
You have a lot of courses. Actually, you have a lot of courses. I was just checking on your site here.
Yes. So that is for engineering. Now for the other courses, the rest of the courses, the minimum requirement is O-level, 4 credits, of which you should have passed math and English. Yes. Because
I can see you have airframe and engines, avionics. What is avionics?
Okay,
it's a new terminology.
Those two are engineering. Engineering is broken down into two.
Okay.
So you choose one of the two.
Okay.
There is airframe and engines, and then there is avionics. Avionics is more of they deal with the electronics, the computers in the aircraft, the radar systems, the telecommunication systems. There's a lot of communication in the aircraft, the tower and the pilots and what. So that is all under avionics.
And then there is flight operations, airport operations, cargo, introductory, airline cabin crew, fares and ticketing, tourism and travel, airline customer service, and all these ones.
Yes. Now, I wanted to break it down a bit into two. We have ICAO courses, which is engineering and flight operations. They are certified by ICAO. And the CA does it, but those are ICAO courses. Every CA of every country are the ones responsible for authorizing those trainings, the national CA. Now, then we have the IATA courses. These are now the ones you talk of, the cargo introductory, the airport operations, the tours and travels. Those are IATA courses. They are certified by IATA.
So you have to attend them in an academy, then you're certified. Are you examining?
No, the academy is certified. The way, for example, an institute is certified by National Council of Higher Education. You get it? You can't just come and start your academy. You have to go through the certification and you're given a certificate that you're now an approved. It's called an approved training organization, ATO.
Okay.
Commonly known. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, ATO. ATO, an approved training organization.
Okay. So young people out there could be wondering, how can they find information or join JOJAM Aviation Academy?
Yeah, you can, like I said, for engineering, you must have passed A-level, physics or math, principal in physics or math, but at least you must have done both of them. and then you apply. We have
a website.
In our website, you can come and get the documentations there. Or if you're a bit confused, you can take the numbers.
You can give it to them, because somebody may be the fans of the country and really want to find out how they can reach out to you.
Yes, my numbers are 0700 390 614. So you can take those numbers and ask any question. I will guide you. I'll connect you to the registrar who will enroll you. It's just a matter of filling in the application form, submit your transcripts, and you wait. We will go through your things as per our procedures, and then we will get back to you, maybe telling you you're successful or not.
If somebody is in Bududa and wants to study at JOJAM, do they have to come and maybe accommodate themselves somewhere? Do you like have where you say a hostel where the students can put up?
We don't have a hostel.
Yes.
But we help normally when parents request that, you know, most parents want their students, their children to be taken
close to the school.
To be close to the school or being monitored by the school. So we help.
And
However, there are those parents, for example, who are within Kampala and Entebbe here, they prefer their children to come from school. I mean from home. So those ones, they handle themselves.
What do you think, young people?
But we actually plan, it is in plan to have our own hostels. Yes.
What don't young people know about aviation? If a young man is listening to you, a young girl, a young boy is listening to you, and what they do not know about aviation, and you think it's an interesting field for them?
Aviation is very beautiful. If you have not seen it, you might not know how beautiful it is. First of all, it's very beautiful. Second, it's interesting. You see, the mere fact that machine, I don't know how many tons of steel, aluminium, a lot of things put together can go up. It is a shocker. I'm telling you, Ivan, when you see the thing in a TV, it looks small. But there's a picture I'll share with you. When I was standing next to a Boeing 777, the tire was about here. You get it?
Yes.
The thing is huge. It's like a flat. But imagine that huge thing taking off and being in the sky. That's one.
And you always go and you notice. That's what I was going to say. You, the engineers, go and you notice. People don't know that you are the one that ensures the safety of those people in the skies.
Yes.
I don't know why you go and you noticed. People think it's the captain, it's the captain who makes sure we are safe.
It all goes back to the history of aviation, how it started. You see, when aviation started, it was all about flying. You find that I can fix my aeroplane and fly it. I go to an air show, fly it, but nobody knows how I fixed it in the garage. Back then, people would actually do multitask. You fix your aeroplane, you go and fly it. You do everything. From the Wright brothers, the very guys who did the first powered flight. I think it was 1902, around there. They were the mechanics themselves, and they were the pilots. You get it? So in the show there, we are seeing someone flying. But in the backyard, in someone's in a garage somewhere in his house, you don't know what he's doing to make sure that thing is flyable.
Comes out to fly.
So it starts from the genesis of aviation. Like really, the engineers have always been somewhere in the hiding, doing their work. But the people who are in the front line are the pilots.
The ones that take credit.
And up to now, it has been the same trend. But going unnoticed, I don't want to say that engineers are not maybe, actually they are the pillars, I would say, of aviation, of aeroplanes, because the safety of the aeroplane starts from ground. If the engineer says that aeroplane is not safe to fly, it will not go. And a normal pilot will even take it. First and foremost, if you take it when it's not released by the engineer, maybe let's say you've taken it, that is a violation of regulations, first of all. Secondly, it's like you're going for a suicide mission. You get it? So you don't need to take it if you have not seen that signature, the authorization of the engineer that he has released it to service. You get it? No normal pilot will do it unless if you have a mental problem.
Okay, my producer says we have run out of time. I want to pick your last words to the young people, the parents and the audience that is listening to us out there.
Okay, our dear parents, the young people, especially the ones who are waiting for the results. Aviation, like I said, is very interesting. That machine, seeing it lift off, seeing it come down, and then working on it, the systems. By the way, one thing I forgot to talk about, the technology. Aviation is always in the forefront of technology. Most of the things from computer and all that, you find that a computer came in the public when it was already in aviation for about 5 years or so.
Okay.
Right now we are talking of AI. I'll break it down on the next episode. We already had AI. This machine, these modern aeroplanes can actually fly themselves. But because of the regulator and the human factor, the human bit of it, you think you can sit on that machine when they say there's no pilot in the cockpit and it's taking off. You cannot. So there is that. Because of that, they cannot. It cannot actually. They cannot allow it. The regulator cannot allow it to go.
But the manufacturer knows it can.
It is designed to do that. You get it. It's what we call autopilot, 3-dimensional autopilot. It can do almost everything. Taking off, land. You just set everything. So
interesting.
You find that everything that is happening technology-wise, aviation is always on the forefront. It has happened maybe a decade ago. So that is a story for another day. But our parents, you are welcome to JOJAM Aviation Academy. Send your students. Let them explore aviation. It's an alternative. Not always go to Makerere or Chambogo, the traditional education. There's also this side of the story. Give it a try. You will be surprised. You will enjoy. You will benefit.
Okay, for time reasons, John Baptist Eidit, I want to thank you so much for making time to come and break down some of this information for our audience.
Thank you very much, Ivan.
Well, John Baptist Eidit, engineer, is the head of training at JOJAM Aviation Academy, just breaking down for us some of the information in the aviation sector. Of course, he's alluding to a factor that is still a virgin and raw industry that needs younger Ugandans to tap into, but most important, also coming out to be more creative, innovative, to make sure they create another avenue for Ugandans to attend or study aviation related courses. I want to also invite you, our audience, on his behalf, check out JOJAM Aviation Academy in Katabi. That's along Entebbe Road, of course, and find out what you can take home for yourself. For time reasons, I want to also thank my camera team behind doing and making sure this happens, but also want to wish all the Ugandans a fantastic weekend. Entebbe is very rich in very many interesting things. Beach, you can do tourism around. You can go to the zoo. You can hang out. Come to Entebbe. Very beautiful place. For time reasons, for today, on behalf of my crew, I sign out for deck. See you next Saturday. Good morning.
Imagine if leadership and development was a uniting factor for people towards a certain achievement. When people set aside their political differences and affront a cause that will benefit everyone.
What does omuntu wa wansi see as development in Entebbe?
Mbuuza meya akyegana, tawuni kiraka akyegana.
Who is the problem now?
Ensonga eno ejja kuggwa.
That is politics. Era tetulina kyakulya n'ekya tekigenda kubaawo.
Ate ne President Museveni bannanga akyali baby.
Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. as we discuss matters in